Welcome to another episode of Off the Record Podcast. I'm Nathan Beagle.
I'm Kobe Robinson.
And I'm Chris Fisher.
Today we're joined by Coach Chris, fellow intern, and we're all a bunch of interns here. So I just want to say, what are your thoughts so far on this internship here at good old Scotland?
I definitely feel like an intern sometimes, but other times I feel like I've been given a lot of responsibility by the coaching staff and a lot of trust by the players. So far so good. Can't complain.
Yeah. What about you, Kobe? What do you think
I
about
definitely
this?
feel the same way as Chris. We get a lot of freedom in the gym, out the gym. We're just as much as part of the coaching staff as the coaches are.
I love that too. I like the free gym, open gym. It's just great to get players in there. I just love the grind. I love seeing players go out there and compete. Me and Kobe talked about last episode. Chris, what was your journey getting here to this moment?
So my journey is rather unorthodox. So I haven't really played basketball at a very high level ever. I never played high school and never played in college. I was a runner throughout my 4 years of high school, and then obviously I ran in college. I ran at the Division I level at Fairfield, so I know what it takes to get to that level, just in a different sport. I know the time commitment, I know the hours you have to put in, I know the sacrifices you have to make, waking up early, getting up, staying up late and everything like that, so I get that aspect of it. So I was on the team for 4 years, and I've always had this desire to help people achieve their goals. So when I was a captain my senior year, I was elected that by my peers. I took that very seriously and took that to heart to really do my best to try and help the team achieve their goals and put the team before myself. So I always had that desire to help people, and then after the season, I knew I had a lot of free time, so I decided to become a manager for the Division I men's and women's teams at Fairfield. And all the coaching staffs were great. They were super receptive and everything like that. They always allowed me to ask as many questions as I need, because I had a decent amount of basketball knowledge going into this, but before I hit Fairfield and everything like that, they really opened my eyes on how to look at things as a coach. I hung out with the coaching staff a lot, went to as much film as I could and everything like that, just the stuff that the other managers weren't going to do, because I knew that this interested me and this could be a part of my journey. And so I got tremendous exposure with both teams and everything like that, both on the sidelines and behind the scenes, in the operations, in video, in scouting, in recruiting. So both coaching staffs were really good to me. And then COVID hit. And so after that, I wasn't exactly sure what I should do. I thought about just applying to some regular jobs, like marketing jobs that were in my field. I was a management major. So I applied to some of those, but I just definitely wasn't sold. And after talking with my family, and especially my mother, she was always like, "Go for it. I mean, this is the time to go for it. You're young and everything like that. If it doesn't work out, you can fall back on something else." But she gave me the confidence to really push for my dreams and everything like that. And then not a lot of opportunities were coming up in the summer. I wanted to go straight to the college level, but knew it would be hard. Then this opportunity popped up, and I talked with Coach Hall, Coach Joe, and the whole staff, and they seemed like this would be the perfect fit for me, trying to get my foot in the door. And now I'm here and living in Pennsylvania, which is 7 hours from my home. A little farther for you, Kobe, but
16 over here.
but so far I'm loving every moment of it.
Oh yeah, it's been 3 weeks, and I'm just loving all of it so far. And everybody has their own journey, and I just love hearing it all. Now, what would you say is your favorite drill to run so far?
My favorite drill?
Yeah.
Anything defensive.
Defensive guy, I love it.
Defensive guy, yeah. So I came from Fairfield, as I said. It was the first year of head coach Jay Young there. It was his first Division I head coaching job. He'd just come from Rutgers. He was the associate head coach there for a long time. He was in charge of the defense there. So he brought those same principles over to Fairfield, and our motto was always defend, rebound, and win. And so we did all those things, and we were probably like a top 40 team in opponents' points per game and everything like that. So he really instilled those values and really showed that if your defense is good, you can beat anybody, and that was true with a lot of our schools in the MAC, which is a very competitive conference. So definitely anything defensive. But I also like seeing the guys just go at it at one-on-one and everything like that, seeing how creative the guys can get.
Yeah, I just love seeing competitives. I love seeing kids compete, and when I see these kids go one-on-one, like it just opens your eyes to see potential and see these kids grow. And I just love it. I really do.
So, Chris, let's talk about this past weekend. You know, Saturday and Sunday, we had to get in there, had to play some of the kids. You know, let them know that the coaches, we're not no joke. How'd you feel that was for them?
It was definitely eye-opening for them, especially for some of the kids. They don't really see us. I mean, you played college basketball and everything like that. I've played basketball for most of my life and everything like that, just not at that high level. But it's not like we can't go out and play and everything like that. And that's what they just didn't understand, because they're still kids and everything like that. They've been around the AAU circuits and everything like that, so they think guys who don't come from that, they think they're just head and shoulders better than them.
Right.
And so I think it opened the eyes for us. I mean, we're definitely not as good as some of the players, but
I feel you on that.
Exactly, but if you play your role and play it smartly, I mean, great things can happen. I mean, we got the sign right there. It says be a champion in your role and everything like that, and I feel like that's what we did. And both of my days, I had a winning record in all of my games, and so like it doesn't matter. But yeah, it was definitely eye-opening for them. Some of them like were a little shocked at first, because they're like, oh, the coach is hitting shots and everything like that. They weren't expecting it. But then as the games went on, they started to like kind of lock in a little bit more when they realized, oh wait, I'm getting scored on by coach and everything like that.
Right.
So, but I mean, it's again, it was the first time they've seen most of us play. So they'll learn eventually, and I'm sure by the end of the year they'll be kicking our butts. But I mean, for now, it definitely gives an added layer of credibility for us.
Right.
In my opinion, being able to like go out there, and it doesn't matter if you dominate or anything like that. Just if you can compete and play well for the stretches and points that you're in the game and in the play. So I think that opened their eyes.
Helps make them better too.
Yeah, absolutely, because they are playing against guys. I'm not saying I do the right thing all the time, but for the majority of the time, I know how to talk, and I know to direct the offense, and I know how to direct the defense and make sure I'm communicating and everything like that. And I think that's a very undervalued part of the game, especially for kids nowadays. And I can say, I got a compliment from one of the kids and one of the coaches afterwards. I said, "You're just always talking. It just made everything so much easier." And then I'm like, well, imagine if you guys did that on the court. And I didn't have to do it all the time. You see how this works? He's like, yeah, I get that.
That's really, I'd say, the biggest undervalued aspect of the game is just communication and working as one. And when you talk, it's all together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this weekend, just by us playing, was definitely like a wake-up call and a reality check, just to see, you know, what talking can do, and just having a wealth of experience, you know, like Chris said, you know, since I played college, you know, just by me coming in and bringing what I learned for college onto this level, you know, it's going to help the guys. And with us practicing and learning new offenses and a college-based offense, college-based scheme, it's just a lot for them right now. And I understand it's going to take some time, but they'll be fine. And we're here to help them and guide them.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll help them reach to that point and get there. And I just can't wait to see the growth and the progress along the way. Now, Kobe, tonight is a pretty good night for you because your boys are playing.
You know, last week I had the shirt. This week I got the mask. Saints mask. Saints Raiders tonight, Monday Night Football. I got us winning.
All right, score?
35-24.
35-24.
Yeah, I'm being generous by giving the Raiders 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, you're giving the Raiders 24 points.
I'm giving them 24 though.
I will give them 3 touchdowns too, but not that field goal. I'm gonna go 31-21.
I've got like 38-14.
Oh,
blowout!
Okay. I'll take it.
Big blowout.
I'll take
I
it.
got Drew Brees on my fantasy team, so
So
I
you
see
need the points.
Emmanuel Sanders go off.
to make it respectable.
Kobe, we're playing each other in fantasy this week. I'm sorry to hand you this L for the week.
You know, honestly, my team, I'm not going to blame the team, but I'm not going to say it's not their fault. My team is battling the injury bug, man.
A lot of the NFL's battling injury.
A lot
You
of
see
them.
these injuries?
A lot of torn ACLs. It's
Jeez.
just
Hit leg
bad.
day, dude. Even Saquon, who has the strongest legs in the NFL for a running back, tore his ACL.
He should have stayed out the first time. He got
Yeah.
hurt early in the game. He goes back in, boom.
Bears play tough. What can I say? That strong defense. Now, Chris, I know you're a Bills fan. You want to talk about this past weekend? It was a close one against the Dolphins.
It was a close one, and I'm not too worried because the Dolphins always give us trouble. Ryan Fitzpatrick always seems to have his best game of the season against the Bills, which good for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I do like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Shout out to Harvard. But no, I mean, we are still without a lot of pieces. We were without our two starting linebackers in Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano, who, in my opinion, is one of the best young linebacking cores in the league. We still without our number 2 cornerback in Josh Norman, and our number 2 cornerback Levi Wallace had a tough time guarding Preston Williams and Devontae Parker this past week and everything like that. So I mean, they just exploited our weaknesses that we had at the time. But credit to this year's Buffalo Bills offense scoring 31 points, because if you told me last year that they had to score 31 points in order to win the game, I would have just put that in the loss column. But no, Josh Allen looked terrific. It was his first 400-yard game of his career in his third year.
Good start right there.
He leads the NFL in passing yards. He did lead the NFL in passing touchdowns until Russell Wilson passed him last night. But he has looked like a brand new quarterback, and I think a big part of that is we finally got the pieces to surround him.
They finally got him a number 1 receiver in Diggs.
Exactly. But don't sleep on John Brown. John Brown will be a good number 1 receiver anywhere else, but I mean, Diggs is a star, and we got a nice compliments in Dawson Knox, who unfortunately got injured this week. And then we have Cole Beasley as well.
So you can't forget Cole Beasley.
Exactly.
Right in the slot.
But so I mean, a win's a win, especially when you're that struck by the injury bug. I mean, not as much as the 49ers have been this past week, but I mean, but like without 2 major pieces, Ed Oliver was banged up in the game. So I mean, a win's a win. That's all I'm gonna say. A win's a win.
Yeah. Especially, we had that win against the Giants. I'll take the win's a win. Came down to the very last play in the red zone. I will take it.
Staying with professional sports, the NBA, man. What do you think of that shot last night with AD?
Woo!
Like I said, I'm a defensive guy, and I think Mason Plumlee did a terrible job of a lock and trail. Because before the play started, Jeremy Grant was asking for help, but he was way too concerned about LeBron James. And yes, I get it, you have to be concerned about LeBron James. And they were only, they were down by 1 or 2?
2.
They were down 2, okay, so. But yeah, I mean, the worst comes to worst, he ties it up. But I mean, that's perfect example of not communicating. And they gave up. Granted, that was a tough shot by AD. You got to give all the credit in the world to him and Frank Vogel for drawing up a tremendous play to put him in that spot. And that's just big time players make big time shots. And I mean, that's why the Lakers are in the position that they are. Between AD and LeBron as the stars, they have found the right pieces to complement around them. Like Danny Green has that championship pedigree coming from San Antonio, and of course Toronto last year. Rajon Rondo, former champion. KCP, good role player. Kyle Kuzma, good young player who has really sacrificed a lot to be on this team. So credit where credit is due to him. JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, they have these veterans in not only on the floor but in the locker room that keeps everybody steered forward. So yeah, but credit where credit's due. Kudos to Jamal Murray. He has been outstanding.
He's been doing everything he can to keep him in the series.
Within really these entire playoffs. Jokic has been phenomenal. I think he's really solidified himself as, if not the best big in the league, definitely number 2, possibly behind just the guy he's facing, the guy who hit that big shot in AD.
Right.
So, I knew as soon as AD touched it, I said, it's game. It's game.
Right.
He was hot. He scored the last 10 points last night?
Yeah,
He kept him in there.
He put that team on his back, but like that's what superstars do.
Right.
Another person that's going off for the Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. A nice.
I really like Michael Porter. I was big on him coming out of college, really coming out of high school. I was big on him. Unfortunate that he had the back injury, but I think that he's proven
that really silenced a lot of people. It seemed like people forgot about him until like the playoffs.
But I mean, this was his first time like really getting the hoop.
Yeah, that's true.
He was projected as at least the top 3 pick after his freshman year if he didn't get injured, and then people were worried about the back. I mean, and the Nuggets have been able to, with the pun, have found these golden nuggets.
Right, they got him, Bol.
They get them late. Jokic was a late round pick. Jamal Murray, I think, was a lottery pick. But they've also found the right pieces to.
Gary Harris too.
Gary Harris,
Will Barton.
And they also have Paul Millsap, who, like I said, it is so valuable to have a leader and a veteran like Paul Millsap in the locker room for this young team. So yeah, credit to the young guys. The Nuggets have such a bright future, and I'm excited to see the progression of still Murray. Murray's still got time. Porter Jr., Bull, how they decide to mix him into the offense and defense. I think defense will be his best added value for them. But I'm excited to see it. Mike Malone is just
He's a genius.
Terrific coach. But easily probably a top 5 coach in the league right now. His schemes, but he knows how to use his personnel.
Right.
You don't see so many guys run the offense through a big man like Jokic, but he understands that Jokic can do that. And if you try that with any other big league, I mean, you see
because he's just so versatile.
You see what happens in Philadelphia when they try to do that.
Yeah, well, that's because Joel Embiid's just not the passer that Jokic is.
Exactly.
He's just the pure back to the basket and big rebounding big. That Jokic, now he's slim. He can move the ball. He can almost be like a 7-foot.
Yeah, I was worried when he slimmed down.
Yeah, I was too at first. I thought that he wasn't gonna be able to bang as much.
The play before AD hit that shot, he just backed up AD and made him like a kid and just hooked it right over him.
Yeah.
That's crazy that he can do that while 30 pounds lighter.
He's tremendous.
On to that East series. How you feeling about that one?
Do you think they can come back? Do you think the C's can come back?
I do. I really do. Will they? I don't know. But I really do. I think they have a more well-rounded team. I think they have 2 young, promising stars in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who have both really, I don't want to say made this their team from Kemba Walker, but they have made Kemba Walker almost take a back seat. But Kemba Walker realizes that he wants to win as well. He was stuck in Charlotte for the longest time.
And he's accepted it.
Exactly.
Because be a champion in your role. That's what it is.
And he knows that Kemba still the one taking the big shots. But yeah, I do believe they can come back, and I'm from New England, so I have a lot of friends who are Celtics fans and everything like that. But they do feel very confident in that specific trio and just the pieces they have around him. Enes Kanter is a terrific back to the basket, scoring offensive powerhouse almost. And he gobbles up on the offensive glass, which is such an underrated skill in the game today. They have guys who can stretch the floor. They have Marcus Smart, who deserves so
much more credit than what
He's
so
like
much
the oil
more
in
credit.
that machine. He's like the glue that makes
He's
everything
literally that
together.
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, but he also deserves a ton of Oscars for all of his performances. But no, don't get me wrong. Marcus Smart, ever since his Oklahoma State days, he has been just a grinder. He is a dog, and he has improved his offensive arsenal,
Right.
which is amazing. He almost reminds me a little bit of Kawhi Leonard, not to the extent, but just coming
to
into
see where he came in
coming
right
into
here.
the league. He was really just a defensive presence, almost like a Tony Allen type. Patrick Beverly type, but he is just slowly, I've seen him get better and better, and I've had the first-hand experience since I'm in New England. I've seen it better and better and better, and he has really been able to become the verbal leader for that team. So, will they come back? I'm not too sure. Jimmy Butler has played terrific. Bam Adebayo is a star in the making. They have perfect pieces around them to complement them. Goran Dragic has played phenomenally, especially in this series, but just throughout the whole playoffs.
Let's not forget my guy. You gotta give it to him. Tyler Hero.
I was just about to go
Tyler Hero. We have to. I think when you list the Heat, you have to list Tyler Hero toward the top because he is a fearless scorer. Like I just love the
I
swag
feel
and the
like
confidence.
he'd only be up there is because Nunn's not there. Like,
That is
if
true.
Nunn didn't get hurt or got COVID, I feel like he.
That
But
is
they
very true.
are
Yeah,
dogs.
they are.
So,
I do like
I've
that.
listed 3 guys, and I'll put Hero at 5.
At 5, you put none at 4.
No, I'll put my man
Right.
Division 3.
Duncan
D.
Robinson. I forgot. We got our
Three
fellow New Hampshire
standout.
guy.
Yeah, it's former fellow New Hampshire guy Duncan Robinson. He's literally played his role perfectly.
I mean, he's not a guy that you can take lightly either. You know,
Exactly.
his release is lightning quick. He has the height, 6'8". You know, I wouldn't say he's a defensive liability, but he's shown that he
He can
can
hang in
handle
there.
it.
And so they do a good job by making sure the matchups are correct and everything. And credit to Eric Spoelstra as well and the whole Miami Heat staff. And really credit to Eric Spoelstra because everybody thought he couldn't win without a big three, and he's really proven that it's not just about him. He can coach. He's butt
coach.
off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what really surprised me? Miami's like, even after losing LeBron in the big three, they haven't gone through a single like rebuild year.
Nah, the only one I can really think of is
They did miss the playoffs, but
maybe like 2 years ago.
yeah, it was like one of those where they were almost to the AC. They just missed it in the very last game.
Yeah, exactly. But no, they've always been competing, and Miami's such a great sports town for them. They love their Heat basketball and everything like that.
They're another one that churns out, you know, undrafted and not well-known guys. It's called Heat University for a reason.
Heat University.
Kendrick Nunn
Kendrick Nunn,
Perfect
came out of
example.
nowhere.
Oakland product. He has been terrific for them. Duncan Robinson.
Duncan Robinson.
Everybody knew what Tyler Hero was going to do, but they have really done a great job with the progression of Bam Adebayo, and I love to see that because I do believe Bam Adebayo, although he is a little undersized for the 5,
He makes up within it.
They know exactly he makes up for it in other areas, and the Heat use that to their advantage.
They made the right choice, moving on from Hassan Whiteside and starting Bam.
Mhm.
And honestly, it worked out for both parties. We saw Hassan. I think he led the league in blocks this year.
Yeah,
Or he was like top 3 or
so,
something.
he led them.
And helped Portland make the playoffs. So I think it just worked out best for both
Yeah.
parties. Now, finals. Who is your finals preview? Because I know between now and the next time we record, we probably will have our finals matchup.
Nah, that's too early.
You don't think a week?
A week?
It's already halfway between.
The Lakers are making it.
Yes, the Lakers are going to be there.
So no faith at all in Denver.
I think Denver
Not
can
even
take.
the fact that it's no faith. It's just the Lakers.
Yeah.
Are
The
just too
Lakers have too
powerful.
much star power.
I think Denver could maybe get it to 5. I want them to go to 6. That's just
I
me.
would love them to go 7.
I think they could get to 5 though.
In the words of Snoop Dogg, Lakers in 5. We are not the Clippers.
But for the East, I don't know. I mean, I just see Jimmy Butler on a mission that I've never seen before from a player. Actually, really since Kawhi last year, but like even Jimmy Butler, because everybody knew how good Kawhi was and everything like that. They may have forgotten about it because of the injury, but they knew Kawhi Leonard is a perennial force in the league. Jimmy Butler has always been looked at as almost that second tier, and he's really trying to turn the tides to really put himself in the upper echelon of talent in the NBA, and I think Miami's been the perfect place for him to really become a leader. And there's not a lot of guys who can be the guy in one place and then almost get really ostracized like he did in Chicago, and then had to leave or get traded, to Minnesota, and then he's really taken this opportunity to ran with it in Miami. And they've given him the keys to the Lamborghini, and so far he hasn't crashed.
And everywhere Jimmy's been, he's been a winner. And like he took the Minnesota Timberwolves out of their 14-year drought of no playoffs, brought them in. They were the 3rd seed until he got hurt that year, too. So like it's not like they walked in, they were the 8th seed and just got done by the Rockets. And then Philly just hasn't looked the same. They chose Tobias Harris over him, and now he's kind of making Philly look like a bunch of clowns. So I would love to see Jimmy in there. I just feel like the youngness of them would really hurt them. Like these young rookies, like you said, we're talking about earlier, experience comes, and the Celtics have had Eastern Conference Finals experience. So I feel like that might be the little edge that brings them back from this deficit. But Miami is right now in the driver's seat, and they gotta turn the corner and close it.
I think Miami would give Los Angeles more problems, just because you saw the job that Jay Crowder did on Giannis. I'm not saying he'll lock him down, lock LeBron down, but Jay Crowder is no slouch on defense. They have Jay Crowder, they have Jimmy Butler to throw on them. They just have so many guys, and I think the Celtics would be a good matchup too. But I just think that right now the Heat are playing better ball, and it would be better for the Lakers in the finals.
There was this stat that like when Jimmy Butler plays LeBron in the playoffs, I forget what the specific numbers are, but he does a pretty good job of guarding him in the playoffs just from them both being the East previous years.
Mhm.
So like he has experience guarding LeBron, so I feel like that would play a little role in it too. I feel like the main thing would just be like, what is AD gonna do in the finals? That man hasn't seen finals.
Yeah,
It's just gonna see like
he
what
hasn't seen
what
the
is
Western Conference Finals.
that too.
Has he been out of the first round?
Yeah, we swept the Trailblazers.
Yeah, I
Don't
remember
forget
that.
that. That was huge.
Was that the year you guys got Boogie?
Good for the season.
That was.
Good for
And
the
he
season.
got hurt like towards
Boogie,
Achilles.
yeah, that was the year Boogie towards Achilles.
Man, that was the best big man duo since like Tim Duncan.
Man, we were gonna be so good. I kid you not, we were gonna be so good.
Him, they had Rondo too.
We had playoff Rondo. Drew Holiday was peak Drew Holiday for me.
He was a guard, a dog.
You saw what he did, Dame, and Dame is my third favorite player. But you saw what he did.
Who's your first two?
My first two, okay, you want me to be honest? My favorite player is Kelly Oubre,
Okay,
and then my second is Steph,
fair.
then Dame, then Devin Booker, then Drew.
Ooh. Who would you list off?
What's your top five?
I can tell you my one is Kawhi, and I can't tell you how much slander I've gotten over the past week about that.
I feel you there.
Yes, I love Kawhi just because he is the consummate professional for me. I'll get back to let me think about that a little bit. I love Derek Jones Jr. actually.
Okay.
I do think he's a spark plug of energy.
Yeah.
Who else can I list real quick? I love point guards. I love Chris Paul.
Of course. You gotta respect the point
I just have
guard.
high respect for that
I
man.
love Chris Paul. He is literally the point guard, as we have always said, and everything like that. And also staying with the team, I love Steven Adams. I love Steven Adams.
Okay.
He does things the right way, in my opinion. Yeah, he's not the flashiest guy and everything like that,
Mhm.
but I mean, you can really just stick him in any position on the basketball floor, and he will make a good play, whether it be a pass, whether it be a nice screen, whether it be a good slip, or a crashing glass. So I mean, I do think he makes all the right plays. And number 5, I don't know if this is one of my favorite players, but I got to give a shout out for the job he did throughout the playoffs to PJ Tucker, the sneaker god.
The
So I
sneaker
can
god.
respect that. My man really brings a new sense of confidence and fashion to the NBA, along with him, Harden, Westbrook, Oubre, Dennis Schroeder is a big fashion guy. So if guys dress well, I respect that. But I gotta give a shout out to PJ Tucker, 6'5" center PJ Tucker.
Corner 3 specialist right there.
He's led the NBA in corner threes for the past 3 years.
That's a pretty interesting fact.
What you got over there?
Oh, this ain't in any order except for this one. D Rose be number 1.
Okay.
Always will be. Still out there balling. Let's see. I really like Trae Young too. I feel like he's the next Steph Curry, or like he is the Eastern Conference Steph Curry. I do like Anthony Davis. I liked him when he got right in there in the Pelicans, or were they the Hornets when he was there?
Yeah,
his first year.
his
Yeah,
first
yeah,
year.
The first year, yeah.
Mhm.
I really like Melo too.
Okay.
I really. And Lauri Markkinen. I like he's the next Dirk Nowitzki. I'm telling you right now.
Okay, Chicago Bulls fan.
Yeah. That's what I heard.
Mhm.
Man, Mitchell Robinson. How did I forget about my Knicks boy?
I like Porzingis too. I like them unicorns.
I don't like him anymore.
Well, just
not
because he's
with
going
the
off.
He's not with the Knicks.
Let's see, that's 4, right? If I
Mhm.
count. What's a good fit? What else do I really like? I'll put Kawhi on that list. I have respect for Kawhi.
Thanks.
It's just tough seeing them blow that 3-1 lead.
I know. Yeah.
Doc Rivers now has 3-1
So,
lead.
yeah, I don't think you can put that series on Kawhi. Kawhi in games 5 and 6 scored over 30, and then he had a terrible.
It was just,
7-0
yeah,
off.
he had one bad game.
Exactly, but that's all people see, and that's why the media is. The
Yeah.
media is great. That's what I'll say.
Oh yeah, and I keep seeing the trash bros, and it just that stat line of the 4th quarter, and it's gonna be haunting. It's gonna be haunting. So I know there's gonna be a lot. They're gonna want to come back, and they're gonna want to prove next year.
Yeah, well, but Kawhi will wipe his tears with his ring finger.
Yeah, but now, anything else you guys want to talk about on this great Monday?
Monday.
Oh, okay. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day today. We're back at it tomorrow. We got Breakfast Club, 6 a.m.
Yes.
long day. So
All right. Well, this has been the episode of Off the Record Podcast. I'm Nathan Beagle.
Kobe.
I'm Chris Fisher.
Go out and like, comment, and subscribe on this, and we will catch y'all next week.
Go Scott.